I think what I've done great was kind of made myself vulnerable. It's worth the commitment, especially if you enjoy it. There's space here. Yo, what up? This is PG, and this is Boardroom's cover story.
We got to go down memory lane, man.
I even got to tell this story, yeah. If Kobe hit a game winner on you, that's what he do.
Right. And I mess with him at the free throw line. I'm like, we here.
Welcome back to another episode of Podcast.
It all started probably 2020, like right when COVID hit. I was already doing live streaming for gaming, playing Call of Duty with my boys. That was really the first initial kind of idea once I started to see the fans, the interaction between them, answering questions. I was talking back and forth with them. My boys were having a ton of fun, and that was really what life was at that moment, being locked up in the house. So I wanted to give back to fans in a way that I didn't know how to at that time. Just the idea of podcasting, like, you know, I'm on the game talking to my boys probably 2-3 hours out of the day anyways. So I was like, man, what if we just shot content and put it out and, you know, kind of brought this to on camera? Everything I think just aligned at the right time. I'm all about positivity and just pushing the right agenda out. And I think I'm very optimistic and kind of even keeled when it comes to perspective. So I think it just made for, you know, the platform and the groundwork to just be a comfortable space and a safe space for people to jump on and get their points across, their messages across, their perspectives across, without it being, you know, shunned upon. Or it's been fun all the way through, to be honest. And it's been therapeutic, for me to kind of just share ideas, pitch ideas, give comments, talk about the past, the future. You know, if you would have told me 10 years ago that I would be podcasting, I wouldn't have believed it. I'm pretty introverted. And so to be on camera and to be comfortable in front of the camera and talk and, you know, interacting with, you know, new people, some are old friends, new friends, it makes me even more excited to be able to jump out of my comfort zone and try new things and just a lot more open to new experiences.
Being in the W now, being in a professional league now, did you have those same struggles now with COVID happening?
It was just so much going on that I really felt I was in a space that embraced Blackness, and I was in a space that really embraced being able to express yourself and still be an athlete. Rookie years are hard. Rookie years are very hard. Everyone goes against you, especially when you're on top, you know, on top of the list.
Yeah, it's safe to say that bubble experience was just tragic, right?
Yeah, it was crazy.
I think what I've done great was kind of made myself vulnerable in ways of getting my questions off by putting myself in those situations, and which a lot of times have been relatable to the guest. And I think just that comfortability, not only from myself, but to get the guest comfortable. I think when you watch the first couple of episodes, you'll see the guest nervous and myself nervous. But I think as the series goes on, you know, I feel that I'll find a way to kind of reach and tap into the guests and make them just feel a part of it from the second we start shooting. And that goes a long way. I couldn't, you know, do this and be comfortable to do this if I hadn't watched those guys and how they perform in this space. So big fans of Stephen A, just from articulation. Ryan Clark, Brandon Marshall, Ocho Cinco has a unique and amazing ability to just be funny in himself. Shannon Sharpe has been a star in this space. Yeah, big shout out to those guys. Cam Newton as well. I love his Funky Friday and all he's got going on over there. I'm a fan of all those guys' works. That just makes me a lot more open to be able to collaborate with these guys and really try to take off running in this podcast world.
Welcome to the very first episode of Podcast P. And I'm your host, Paul George, here with my co-host and my guys. Please introduce yourselves.
I'm Dallas Rutherford, a.k.a. the White Stallion down at Venice Beach.
And I'm Jackie Long, and I never do you wrong. I'm not going to do nothing but tell you what's right and never tell you what's wrong. You dig?
Bars.
Funny enough, we shot kind of two pilots for the show. One with my boys and one with another guest. I've never met the one star that I shot it with. It was just, 30 minutes of let's make magic happen and see what happens here. And we did great, but there was obviously some filling out and, I don't think it just came off as a perfect match between the two of us. So I was like, well, let me try this with my boys. Like, let's see what it looks like on camera with my boys. The second we started rolling, it was like we could go on forever and ever. So it just felt right. I think I picked two of the most opposite people that you can pick, which I think makes the show so great. And I've known them for a long time. Both of those guys, we have a strong relationship and a strong friendship and brotherhood. So, and again, they were part of the idea when I was thinking about doing this and playing the game. Those were the two guys that I was on the games with and talking and really making this dream come true. So it felt right.
You want to know how we became friends?
Well, me and Dow, they found your boy in Palmdale. We became friends through AAU, like 14, 15 years old. That's when I was first introduced to the AAU circuit.
Tell them about me.
I don't really know when we met.
We met in Vegas. The first time at Floyd at the Louis Vuitton store. You was with A1 Big Nose. He was nosy. That's A1 one of the homies.
I think Dallas's strength is he's the perfectionist. Like, he wants to deep dive. He finds out, this backstory to that backstory and this little tidbit that he read. And I think he's just so analytical and strategic and just well thought out, with his answers. And, I think he can word things in a way that like the guest immediately understands. Whereas Jackie is the comedic relief.
I like what you did up there.
You like what I did?
Yeah.
He's the one that actually makes the guest the most comfortable. From the second they walk in, he's, making them laugh. He's making them comfortable. He's telling jokes. And so he helps the show just move along so gracefully when there is those low points or there is those dead zones. He's kind of the one that just kind of keeps the conversation lit and keeps the conversation going. So I think both of them add a ton of value. It definitely makes my job a lot easier. For myself, I think what I bring is just the relatability. In most cases, being in the same situations. I think just the openness, the open and honestness that I bring to the conversation, I think helps. Again, like I said, the guests kind of, feel that they can share more than probably they wanted to share going into the conversation. We have great producers on the show. Shout out Chuck, shout out TD, shout out EJ. Shout out Miles Williams, great producers on the show. Shout out Pierce. They make it so seamless when we come in. They do, deep dive research. We know what we're shooting, prior to the episode coming out. So it gives us time to go and research and look up things on our own. And because I like to be prepared and I like to have, ammo going into the shoot. But those guys make it so easy. They have the questions ready for us. They have the show run of how it should lay out. And then we just come in and we prep and we, get our lines and what questions we want to ask down and try to memorize those. And then, we kind of just keep the show rolling, based off how the conversation is going, gives us, ideas of what else we want to ask and bring to this conversation as well. So we couldn't do our jobs without those guys I mentioned.
It's work. Mm-hmm. And you have to show up to work every day and perform despite what could be going on at work, what can be going on at home, what can be going on in the world. You have to show up and perform.
I think the best advice since I've been podcasting is came from Draymond. After the first couple of episodes we shot, what he told me was just be consistent, regardless of how you got to do it. You got to be consistent. That's what the fans and the followers want most is just, you being consistent at a certain time every week. That really, registered with me. It comes with the job. Some days, you might be a little tired or you might be a little, frustrated about a loss. But again, like I said, it's therapeutic. So regardless of how I felt the night before or the game before or the day before, it's a way for me to kind of vent it out. And so honestly, those days where it seems to be tough, it always begins to become lighter as the pod goes. And that rarely happens. I think we do a really good job of timing and spacing it out so where it is pretty convenient and flexible to my schedule. But the whole thing about it is just being, consistent. We got to shoot 2 guys to get content out to last a couple weeks. then we'll do so. So they've, I think everybody involved have kind of just been on the same page to make things, run on a weekly basis.
How's the podcast money, by the way?
Oh, it's good. Yeah, it pays well. It's worth the commitment. I think from in front of the camera and then off the camera. And I think we're at the lowest scale when you think of some of these big pods out there. And so, yeah, it definitely gives you optimism that, especially if you enjoy it, there's space here.
Come on, Tiger, be with me today.
Like, I would love to sit and have Tiger Woods come in. And I recently got into golf. I love golfing now. And so would definitely love to just have a conversation with him, because he's iconic. He's been through a lot. He's seen a lot. There's far more ups than downs. And I think that should be celebrated and highlighted. And so I think we do a great job with the space of doing that. Obviously, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Will Smith, Kevin Hart, The Rock, so many people that, have been big influences to me and people that, I look up to and try to, just be better as a man. Those are the people that stand out to me to have on the show.
We got none other than the young legend, just an all-around star, biggest, newest star in LA now, two-time WNBA MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, A'ja Wilson.
I've been loving the coverage that we've been having and again, appreciative of the platform I have to shed light on the WNBA. Honestly, women's basketball is very personal and, very close to me with my older sister playing and being one of the reasons why I got into basketball. So, I've been around women's basketball for, ever since I can remember. And so that'll always have a sensitive spot, for me. But I think, again, we just want to uplift, and spread positivity. I love where the WNBA is going now. I love the new personalities in the WNBA now. They're growing their game and they're doing it organically and beautifully. I think each woman is starting to come into their own and embrace who they are. And that's what's really making the game grow. They're stars on the court and now off the court. And so, yeah, the more that we can kind of highlight that and, put that out there and give them coverage, as big brothers, to our sisters, I'm all for it. And I think our pod has shown that.
Well, obviously you've been named the #1 podcast in basketball, and that was early. What has been like the biggest surprise for you as far as reception? Yeah,
when I saw that, I thought it was a bit premature. I didn't think we did that much yet in the space. I thought it was more so as just being a fresh voice. But, to be honest, I don't think we're there yet. I think there's a ton of improvement on my end. There's a ton of improvement on Dallas and Jackie's end. We're 2 years, not even yet, 2 years yet into the podcast. And so we got a ton of work to do. And I think we're getting better on a yearly basis. But, I love the reception that we've been getting. It's been keeping us locked in to continue to do this. And we actively read the comments on the episodes. Sometimes I'll read and while we're watching it live, we'll kind of read and see what people are saying. And I think we're on the right pace. We're on the right page of where we want this thing to go. It's been a ton of positivity and we look forward to the comments. Like I do take it personal when people say that we could have did this better or we could have did that better. They're the subscribers to this. This is their content. This is what they want to see. This is not for me. I think it's more so for them. And so I do want to kind of be relatable and be able to show, many different directions of what I can do in this space. So yeah, I've been loving what the fans have been giving us. And I didn't think I'll be here if I look back 10 years ago and look where I'm at. So it's only up from here.